Good. Okay, Mawadda. Tell us
Yes,
something about this quote.
yes, doctor. For me, it's a good translation because it convey the meaning of the source text, and we don't have any imitation. I get the meaning like it's a well planned because it like focus on the context of the text, and not literally word.
Good.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we get the attention of when I mean the attention of the writer in in the source language. We can get it in the in the target language. So for me, it's a very
The
good
target language.
translation. Just
Yes.
we
You
have
mean,
yeah.
yes, good. You mean, right, yeah, Mawadda.
Yes,
Habibti, you mean the intention, not
sorry,
attention.
doctor. Intention of the writer, yeah,
You mean
yeah,
the
intention
intention?
of the,
You mean the intention? Yes. Intention, not attention. intention يعني قصد المؤلف.
yes, doctor. Yeah, I mean the intention of the writer because but
Intention. Yes,
I
good.
think the knot is
So
cutting.
please
The
go
net
on.
is cutting. Yeah. And but we have here the name of the writer and the target الكاتبة الصحفية الأمريكية دورثي داي. Just in a target language we put الكاتبة الصحفية, but that don't change the meaning of the text.
Yes.
We don't. Oh, I can say it. It's a very clear translation and a very good translation.
It does not ruin the meaning, you mean. It
Yeah,
does
yeah,
not
not
distort meaning.
yeah. I'm
Yes,
not.
it does not affect meaning.
Yeah, doctor.
Yes, thank you very much,
Thank
Habibti.
you,
Very good.
doctor. Thank you.
Farah,
Yes, miss.
most welcome.
Yeah, there is no allocation of what the target language.
Yes, Farah. Would you please raise your voice? I guess there's something wrong. I can't hear you. I'm going to ask Fatma Muhammad and later on get back to you.
Yes, doctor. Good morning.
Okay? Good morning, Habibti.
Yes,
Okay,
doctor.
miss.
Yes,
Yes.
doctor. For me, it is a good translation because, as Mawadda said, the translator it is conveyed the intention of the author. So, as if we can now see the translation, it is in the source language, and also we can see the equivalence. There is an equivalence with the target language and with the source language, and of course, it is a clear and understood
Yes,
text.
great.
Yeah. Thank you, doctor.
Yes, very good. Yes, most welcome. Hajar.
Yes, doctor, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, doctor. First of all, doctor, can we say something about the theme of the quote?
About what? About the theme? Yes,
Yes,
of
doctor, we
course.
can say this theme quote it talk about the importance of the human efforts and how he achieved his dreams and reached success.
Yes, good.
Yes, doctor,
Not
and
only he,
concerning
not only
yes,
he,
doctor,
but she. How she
all of us,
achieves
of
her
course.
dreams.
Yes,
Of
doctor.
course, yes.
Yes, doctor. And
Yes.
concerning the translation, my opinion, as my colleague said, it is a very good translation because it's the intention of the writers is well conveyed here. And when I read the quote, I didn't see any omission of the target text on any a new addition that changed the meaning. As Mawadda said, the name of the writer at the end, it doesn't change the meaning because it is not a new addition. And also there is a natural equivalence between the target
Yes.
text and the source text, and
Source.
it is easy to be understood,
Good.
understand and clear to us.
Yes. It is called in translation, it is called natural. It is natural translation. It sounds as
Yes,
it is
doctor.
written in the target language. Very good. Farah, again.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, Miss. Can you hear
Yes.
me now?
Yes, of course. You are great.
Yes, Miss. Miss, as my colleague says,
You are
there is
using a
it is a
loudspeaker.
good.
Yes.
Sorry, Miss.
You are using a
I didn't
loudspeaker,
hear you.
just like those sellers.
Okay, Miss. Okay, Miss.
Good.
There is one thing. There,
Just like those
my colleague didn't say that there is no imitation. Okay.
Yes, good.
There is no imitation, Miss, of the
Yes.
source language. The target language begin
Good.
with the verb. Sorry, Miss.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it's great.
Miss,
Go.
and the target language. Yeah, the target language begin with the verb, and the source language begin with the subject that he says people say, and in the target
Yes.
language يقول الناس. It is begins with verb.
Yes.
And that's all, Miss. Thank you.
Why? Why the translator? Yes. Yes. Why the translator is using a verb? Is starting with a verb? What do you think?
Miss, because there is, according to the culture or to the language that it is used, it is preferred to use
The norms.
norms. Yes, Miss.
Conventions. Yes. According to the conventions or the norms of the target language. Good. Noor al-Huda.
Yes, Miss.
You are raising your hand.
Yes, about the translating, I think it is a good translating because it is convey all the meaning as my colleagues say, the same thing. Yes.
Yes. What about
Yes.
the methods? Which method of
Method-
translation you think it is used? Hajar.
Doctor, you mean our lecture today, the methods of translation? Which one he used?
Miss, can
Yes.
we consider it as
In
a
my opinion,
faithful
doctor,
translation?
yeah, the faithful translation.
Which one?
Faithful, doctor,
Sorry.
faithful.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Yes. Why you say it is a faithful translation? By the way, what does it mean, faithful in Arabic? What does it mean? How to translate the
مخلص.
word faithful in Arabic into Arabic? Good. What else? Can we say ترجمة مخلصة?
دكتور ملائمة نقدر نقول.
What else? ولا.
Yes, doctor. We can say الترجمة الصادقة.
What else? ندى عدنان.
الترجمة الأمينة.
Yes, good. So it is faithful translation. So Hajar, complete. Good for you, Nada. Why you
Complete,
say
doctor,
it is
for
the
the faithful translation. I
to
explain
what?
it. Doctor,
Yes,
because
please.
there is a balance between the literal meaning of the text and the target structure. It means it takes the context into consideration here. It doesn't translate it out of context.
Good.
Yes, doctor.
So it is a faithful. There is something else. Did the translator deviate? يعني ينحرف. Deviate from the original text? Did he or she add
No,
or
doctor.
omit something
No, doctor.
that changes meaning?
No, doctor.
Good.
No, doctor.
Yes. Good for you. Fatma Ali Yusuf, you are raising your hand.
Yes, Miss. Yes, no, miss, because it makes a balance between the literal meaning of source language and the target language. It makes balance.
Yes? In
Yes,
what
miss.
way?
So it is faithful translation
In what way there is a balance? In what way?
because
What do you mean by balance?
because it takes the whole context in consideration. يعني no added or no omitted.
No, there is nothing added or omitted. Okay. Anything else to add to this quote? Nargis?
Yes, doctor. Also, doctor, we can say that in the target language, he added some information, but it's not change the meaning. The opposite. It's clarifying the context or the text of the meaning.
Good. They added something that clarifies, adds more knowledge to the reader, more information to the reader without affecting the original meaning of the source text. Good for you. Hajar, you are raising your hand again?
Yes, doctor, and the faithful one feature of the faithful translation that it's attempt to reproduce the contextual meaning of the original text, and that's why it is faithful.
What do you mean by the contextual meaning?
Yeah, doctor. As I said, he pay attention to the context. He doesn't translate word individually, out of
Good.
context.
Yes, very good. Yes,
Yes.
very good. So
you.
context plays a great role, an important role, yes, in translation. Fayha,
Yes, doctor. Also, that's no difficult word. The reader, when I read the text, all the text, I understand what's the
yes,
meaning. I mean the aim of the text, and that's why I say that's clear and easy. Text, good text.
good. So we have finished this quote. I'll stop presenting it. It's okay? In order to start our lecture for today. Just a minute. Window. But before that, let me take your attendance. So we have studied, I mean you have studied the different methods of translation. So Fatma Safa,
Yes, miss.
I'll take your attendance. Register it. Yes, Habibti. You are here. Fatma Yusuf is here. Fatma Majid.
Yes,
Fatma Majid.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Fatma Muhammad is here. Farah is here. Fayha is here. Kawthar. Kawthar Talib. Absent. Liqa.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, thank you. Maryam Iskandar.
Yes, doctor. Yes, doctor.
Yes, Habibti. Maryam Abdel Sattar.
Yes, doctor, I am here.
Thank you. Maryam Abuad.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, thank you. Maryam Majid.
Yes, miss.
Maryam Majid. Fatma Salim. Absent. Fatma Shihab.
نعم دكتورة.
Yes. Manal. Absent. Maud is here. Fatma Riyadh. Fatma. Absent. Maysa Zamil. Maysa. Absent. Maysa Muhammad.
Yes, miss.
Yes, thank you. Mina.
Yes, miss.
Where are you? Yes, thank you. Nida Khalid. Nida Adnan.
Yes, miss.
Where are you? Nida Adnan. Where is Nida Khalid? Absent. Nargis is here. Nisreen. Namaraq. Hurry up, ladies. Where are you? Nisreen and Namaraq. They are both absent. Nuha Razak.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, thank you. Nuha Aid.
Yes, doctor.
Nuha, where are you?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, that's okay. Nawar Abdul Rida. Nawar, absent. Noor Al Huda is here. Noor Ibrahim.
Yes, miss, I'm here.
Yes, thank you. Noor Hussein. Noor Ibrahim. Noor Hussein. Absent. Noor Saad.
Yes, miss.
Absent. Where are you? Thank you. Thank you, Noor Saad. Noor Ibrahim. Noor Shakir is here. Noor
Yes.
Amir. Yes, thank you. I know, Noor Shakir, Habibti. Noor Amir. Where are you, Noor Amir? Absent. Noor Abid. Noor Abid. Absent. Hajar is here. Hiba Adil.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Hiba Adil, thank you. Hadil Mahmoud. Where are you, Hadil? She's absent. Wala As'ad is here. Wala Asim. Wala As'ad. Wala As'ad. Yes, you are here. Wala Asim, where are you? Absent. Yasemin.
Yes, doctor.
Absent.
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Where are you? Thank you, Habibti. Yaqeen.
Yes,
Ammar.
doctor. Yes, doctor.
Yes, most welcome. Yaqeen Qasim. Yaqeen Qasim, where are you? Absent. Adra Jasim. Adra Jasim is absent. Now I have only 24 students. 7 students have left right now. So whoever I'm calling her name and don't say yes, she will be absent. Okay, she will get a 0. Don't register your name and leave, ladies. Everything is recording. The meet is recorded. So don't you play games with me, please, please, please. So you have taken the assignment about the methods of translation, right?
Right, doctor.
You have seen it, you have read it. Yes, you have different
Yes,
questions
doctor.
about it. You have taken some notes. There are certain things that you didn't know about them, and you have get certain information about these methods, right? So I'm going to ask Yasemin. Where is Yasemin? Yasemin. She said yes, few minutes
Yes,
ago.
doctor. Yes, Doctor.
Yes, good for you. Yes, thank you, Habibti. So have you read the assignment?
What? No, Doctor.
Yes, thank you, Habibti, for being honest. Yaqeen Qasim is not here. She'll take a 0. Those who are not here today, they will get a 0. Please tell them. Yaqeen Ammar.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes. Translation scholars have proposed different methods of translation. They are 8 in number, right?
Yes, Doctor. Yes.
Yes. In your opinion, are they important?
Yes, Doctor.
طبعا
I think
سبحان
very
الله بقدرة
important
قادر
يعني
السبعة
because
رأسا
to
رجعوا
refer.
اتصالات حديثة بين الزميلات. Yes, يقين.
Yes, Doctor. I think يعني the methods of translation it is very important. It could because it could be help the translator or to translate a text in order and to produce a good translation.
Yes. So,
Yes,
how can you differentiate
and
between
Doctor,
them? You say that they help the translator to translate in a good way. How can you choose a good method?
Can be defined as can be defined as being a way to translate a text or sentence or phrase in certain roles.
Yes, I know. You are reading now that the method. Yes, you are reading the assignment right now. But how can you pick a specific method depending on what?
Doctor, I think depend on ideas or messages which will be translated from the source language. Doctor, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm listening.
Yes, Doctor.
Carefully.
I think depends on
Noor Abed
ideas
Fadel.
or messages which.
Yes, thank you.
No.
Okay, Yaqeen, thank you,
Okay.
Habib. Noor Abed Fadel. Yes, 0. She is not here. Noor Ibrahim.
Yes, miss.
Yes, Habibti. As you've seen,
Miss?
that there are different methods. How can you draw a distinction?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Miss,
You have your kid by you?
Yes, miss.
Yes. Have you read the assignment?
Sorry, miss, I didn't hear you. Yes, miss, I read it.
Yes. How can you draw a distinction between these different methods?
Miss, in my opinion, I am differentiate between them according to their meanings. For example, we have word for word translation, which mean translate every word by word.
Yes.
Which is not correct in our in my opinion.
So how can you differentiate between these 8 methods depending on what? How can you draw a distinction between them?
Miss, in my opinion, I think it's by define them. When I know their names, I know how use these methods.
In a translation, for instance, the quote that I have shared a few minutes ago, there is no mention for the method.
Yes, miss.
I
know it from the context.
When
I read it at home.
So how can you know it?
Miss,
So can you define the semantic method of translation? Semantic. For instance, the semantic, can you define it right now? What is the main feature of the semantic
method? Miss, your voice is cutting. Miss, can you repeat please?
What is the main feature of the semantic method of translation? In which context you can use a semantic method?
In which context, Miss? I don't focus on this information.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Nawar. Nawar, she is absent. She is taken 0. Nawar. Nuha Aid. Nuha. Please lower hand, ladies. All of you. Farah and Noor, lower hand. Nuha Aid. 0. Mina. She has left the meeting. 0. Maryam Iskandar.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, Maryam. Can you draw a distinction between semantic and communicative methods of translation?
I don't know, doctor.
Yes, thank you, Habib. I like honest people. Maryam Abdel Sattar. Maryam. Zero. Maryam Awad.
Yes, doctor.
Yes. Can you draw a distinction between the word for word and literal method of translation?
Literal word of translation. Doctor, literal word or translation is this grammatical construction and convey the meaning, taking the meaning word by word.
What do you mean? Explain it in other words. Don't read.
How
can
we
you
translate
differentiate
the
between
word
these
by
two
word.
methods? Yes, how can you differentiate between them? And give me an example. Thank you, Maryam. Maryam Majid.
Yes, miss.
Yes. Yes, answer the same question. Have you read?
Yes. What?
Silence means yes.
Words for words translation. This is one is quite similar to first method. It's characters specific linguistic elements from the source text. Word
What are you
word
saying? You are
translation.
saying nonsense, Maryam.
Yes.
Have you read? Have you read the assignment? You haven't read. You are saying whatever comes to your mind. Fatma Shahab.
نعم دكتورة.
Yes.
ال word for word translation it's translate a culture words to use for.
What do you mean? What do you mean by culture words?
يعني ترجم اللغة يعني الثقافية.
No, don't say it in Arabic. Don't say it in Arabic. Explain what do you mean by these words.
Miss, at this point I didn't understand it.
Okay, you haven't
No,
read.
no,
Thank
miss.
you.
والله قرأت.
لقاء. Okay, okay. Listen to your friends and you will know the correct answer later on.
Okay, Miss.
لقاء.
Yes, doctor.
Where is لقاء? Yes, حبيبتي.
Yes, I'm here.
So, you have different methods of
Yes, the same
translation. Do
question.
you think they are important for you? Do you think they are important for translators?
Sorry, the important, I think the communicative translation, many translator prefer this type of translation because it is.
Did you listen to my question? Do you listen?
No,
a minute. لقاء. Did you listen to my question? You are preparing an answer before the question.
No, I read.
I'm asking
I
you.
mean, I
in
think
your
the
opinion,
same question for
is it obligatory? Yes.
Yes, you can
In your
ask.
opinion, do you find it necessary for translators to have some knowledge about these methods? Do you find it necessary or you can skip
What's
it?
translation? Sorry, doctor, I can't understand your question.
Have you read, لقاء? Have you read? Or you are collecting some information from here and there?
No, I'm read, but I didn't catch your point of question.
Do you find it vital for translators to have some knowledge about these methods?
You mean the method of translation? All of these methods of translation?
Of course, all of them. Yes,
Yes.
all of them.
There is the translation, of course, have a different view about each method of translation. For example, word for word translation. It is the source, the target language will be below the source language translation, and we have also the communicative translation.
What do you mean below? What do you mean below?
For example, yes.
What do you mean below the source language?
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean below?
For example, when a sentence, one sentence in source language, they will translate the sentence below in target language below the text, and it's depends on the word, not on the meaning, on contextual meaning of this.
Give me an example. Give me an example.
From the PDF or from me? They didn't say, didn't depend on the
own experience
meaning. For example, we have in the previous lectures, we have a full drain, a full. Okay, the example.
Okay, thank you. Kawthar. Kawthar, where are you? 0. She is not here. Manal. Zero. Fatma Riyad. Misa Zamil. Misa Muhammad.
Yes, miss. Yeah.
Yes, Misa. In your opinion, you have studied. Have you read the assignment?
Yes, doctor. Doctor, word for word translation. Doctor, this is often demon.
A minute. Let me. A minute.
Yes.
A minute. غير أنا أسأل السؤال. إيش تبي قدام تنطلق من الجواب. قبل السؤال. Let me ask you. In your opinion.
Yes,
which method? You have 8 methods. Which method is is widely used by beginners, and why?
Dr. Literal translation.
Literal? Do we have literal?
Literal translation.
Do we have such a word? Such a method? Literal.
Yeah.
Literal.
Yes, Miss.
Yes.
Yes, Miss. The source
Why it is used
language
by novice
grammatical.
translators, by beginners?
What, Doctor?
Why it is used by beginners?
I don't know, Doctor.
ندى خالد. ندى عدنان.
Yes, doctor.
Nisreen. ندى Adnan
Yes.
is here? Okay. So why literal translation is used by novice or beginners? Novice translators, I mean.
Because it is out of context, and it is use the lexical words.
What do you mean out of context and lexical words? Explain it. Explain it. What do you mean?
It is doesn't depend on the intention of the writer, and convey the lexical meaning, which is found in the dictionary.
Yes, what do you mean by lexical meaning? What do you... Okay. Can you give me an example?
Yes, doctor. Like the word book, it is found in the dictionary as its meaning kitab.
Yes, tell me about the literal method of translation. What are the most prominent feature of this method? What happens in literal translation, literal method?
The source grammatical are converted to their nearest target language equivalents.
Don't read, explain. Don't read from the PDF. You are saying nonsense. It has no meaning. You have to explain what you have read.
Yes, Dr. Lexical item translated individually.
Yes, can you give me an example to show your point? To prove that you have read and understood what you have read. Give me an example of a literal meaning. The literal method of
meaning?
translation. Yes.
Yes, doctor. I said it is do not depend on the context. Depending on the lexical words. Yes, doctor. As I said,
you're repeating yourself. Yes, read it again, and then you'll listen to your colleagues what they say. Nisreen. Namaraq. Nuha Aid. Nuha, where are you? Absent and 0. Nur al-Huda.
Yes, miss.
Yes. Can you explain the main features of the literal translation, literal method of translation? And we have been dealing with different examples from the beginning of the year up to now. All of them are dealing with literal method of translation?
Miss, can you repeat?
Can you what? What is the main features of the literal method of translation? Noor Hussein. Noor Saad.
Yes, doctor.
Miss, can you
Yes,
hear me?
yes, doctor.
I can't, you are silent. I can't hear you. A minute, Noor. Noor Al-Huda, you are
No, Miss,
silent. You didn't say a word. Yes, you are silent. You are not answering. So I can't hear you.
I want to answer you.
Noor Saad.
Miss,
You want what? Noor Al-Huda?
to answer you about your question.
Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, about the literal translation. What we take in this year, literal translation mean we translate each word individually. We don't debate on the context itself, or in which way the word take place in the sentence, or what it is mean. We just translate it as it is. Like my colleague says, book it is. كتاب فقط.
Okay. Noor Saad.
Yes, doctor.
Which method you prefer? You have read these 8 methods. So in your opinion, which method is the most appropriate for translators? And why?
I think, Doctor,
have you read?
Yes, doctor, but I am so sick today. Yes.
Okay. 0. Noor Shakir. Yes, I'm repeating
yes,
the same question. Which method you prefer and why? If you are an expert translator.
Yes, in my opinion, the faithful translation, faithful translation is a good one.
Why?
Victor, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm listening.
Yes, because it's a balance between the literal meaning of the source language word and the target language word. When the reader come to the text and read it, it can't face it any. How can I say it?
Any difference?
Yes, when.
You mean any difference? There is no difference between the source language and the target language.
Yes, and he can't face it any difficult to understand it. Yes.
Okay. What are the main features of this method? Since you have picked the faithful method of translation, what are the main features?
Come. Victor.
Sorry?
I can't hear you, Victor. The voice is cutting.
No, the voice is clear.
Can you hear me?
I can guess it in, I can measure it here. What are the main features of the faithful method of translation?
Victor, it's a good translate when the translator translate the quote. The reader can understand it and can connect between the source language word and the target language word.
Are we concerned with words, Noor?
Sorry, doctor?
Are we concerned in translation with words?
No, no.
Are
with
we
meaning.
concerned with words?
With meaning.
So how can you change what you have said? What do you say now? What happens in the faithful method of translation? Hiba Adil.
Yes, doctor, I'm here. Yes, doctor.
Yes. There are different methods of translation. Which
Yes.
method you find it the easiest for novice translators?
Doctor, I think the best type for me it is the free translation, doctor, because we understand the meaning and translation.
What I've asked you,
Doctor, free translation.
You didn't listen to my question. I've asked you. Ajib, I'm asking you something and you have prepared an answer in advance without paying attention to the original question. I've asked you which method you suggest for novice translators.
For novice translation.
We have just talked about this. So you didn't read.
Doctor,
That's why you don't know it.
No, doctor.
We have been discussing this a few minutes ago.
Doctor, can you repeat?
Hadil, which method is widely used by novice translators and why? Wala Asim is absent, right? Should get a 0. Wala Asad.
Yes, doctor.
Yes. As I'm asking Hiba Adil, novice translators
Yes, doctor. I
are
think
suggested to use a specific method of translation. Which one?
Doctor, I think it's the translation word for word because it doesn't convey the meaning, all the meaning to the reader.
Yes.
Because
which one? And there is another one which is similar. There is a similarity between word for word and another method.
Free translation, I think.
Which method is similar to the word for word? Okay, ladies, I'll see which one didn't participate.
Doctor, I think free translation, just like
almost. Yes, what do you mean? What do you think? What is the meaning of free translation? Is it a simple one?
Yes, doctor. It is just like the translation word for word. It doesn't convey the meaning, all the meaning to the reader.
No, you are mistaken. In the free translation, this method is widely used by expert translators, by creative translators. They use their own way of translation in rendering literature. I'll give you some example about this method. But in general, as you said at the beginning, you've said that novice translators use word for word. You remember yourself at the beginning of this course? When you started the translation, when you started translating, you started with word for word because you didn't know that there are certain rules, there are certain norms concerning the target language. So the word for word or the literal method of translation is widely used by whom? By novice translators, by beginners. طبعا كل ساعة أقول لكم novice, it means beginners. So when I ask what is the method widely used by novice translators, some of your colleagues that don't know what is meant by novice because they don't pay attention. Now, Hajar, would you please explain what is meant by a method of translation? Where are you? Farah.
Yes, miss. Can you hear me?
Yes. What is meant by a method of translation?
Miss.
Yes, I hear
Yes,
you.
miss.
Go
I
ahead.
think translation method, it is translating the sentences or a text by certain rules. For example,
How it is
if
called
we
the method?
translate.
What does it mean, a method? Farah, you have. Yes, Farah, you have. جماعة ابن سينا جونا تستعدوا. Farah, you have studied different types of teaching methods, right? In a translation, we have also methods. How many they are? Farah, how many methods?
We have 8 methods, miss.
Fatma. Yes, good. We have 8. As you know, we have said that there are certain similarities between word for word and what? And the literal method. Can you give me an example? I'll give you an example. See, in the first example, I'm going to explain what does it mean by word for word method. Pay attention to this example. أنا اشترى 3 حمراء سيارة. Here, what I'm doing, I'm replacing each word see, in the source text with another one where in the target text. Read the text, read the target text, read it. Is it acceptable in Arabic to say أنا اشترى 3 حمراء سيارة? Is it acceptable?
No,
Of course not.
No, miss.
Why? Why? Because in Arabic, it is impossible to start with the adjective, while in English, they started with read the adjective. Okay? This is word for word method of translation. Look at the second example. The manager has an itching hand. How to translate it? How to translate the second example? Yes, ladies. Any suggestions? ولا. Yes.
دكتور المدير يعاني من حكة في يده.
Yes. المدير. Okay.
المدير يعاني.
حكة في يده. Ladies, here the text is a short one. But suppose that here we don't know about the context. We don't know about the context of this text. But suppose that there is some inspection. There are some inspectors or observers who know that there is a sort of corruption. أكو هنا بالموضوع فساد. So some inspectors جو المفتشين to check that, to know that the manager has an itching hand. Here, since you translated literally, does it have any meaning if we are dealing with corruption? إذا الموضوع له علاقة بالفساد. Does the text here has any meaning? Is it related to corruption?
No, doctor.
What do you say? So it means that you have it translated literally. Nargis.
Yes, doctor.
Yes. If you check the term an itching hand in Google, what can you get? I've checked it now, and I found out that this is not an ordinary text. This is an idiom. And as you know, idioms must be translated adequately. So, in literal translation, in the literal method of translation, you are translating the words just like wala. Good for you, wala. Here, you have translated the text without taking context into consideration. It is what? It is out of context translation. يعني الترجمين بدون ما تاخذين السياق بنظر الاعتبار. Since we have known that it is concerned with corruption, فساد مالي. So I've checked the dictionary and I found that itching hand, this is an idiom. It means what? المدير.
Doctor means rashwa?
Very good. Nargis?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, good for you. So, المدير يأخذ رشوة. Look at the difference between these two texts. Are they the same? Are they the same? Do they have the same meaning?
Of course not, doctor.
No, doctor.
No, doctor.
In literal translation, meaning is distorted. المعنى يتدمر تماما. Why? Because we are translating the words
because
in
it's
isolation.
just replacing the words, doctor. Yes.
Yes, great. We are replacing the words from which language?
From source language to target
Nargis.
language.
Good. Here, since you didn't take context into consideration, meaning is totally different. So here, as you see, there's a huge difference between these two methods of translation. And if we come back to my first question, I've asked you, do you think that these methods of translation are important? What can you say?
Of course.
Yes, doctor, of course.
Yes, Hibe.
Yes, doctor, of course, it's important. Doctor, I have another example.
Yes.
Doctor,
good.
We have example.
Can you give it?
Yes, doctor. Doctor, it's raining cats and dog. For example, doctor, it is not mean rain cat and dog.
Let me write it.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, let me write it.
It is raining cats and dog.
It is raining cats
and dogs.
If we translate it literally. How to translate it literally?
إنها تمطر قطط وكلاب.
Yes, Hibe. Good. إنها تمطر قططا.
But doctor, of course, it is not mean that.
Does it make any sense?
No, doctor. No.
Good. Yes.
Doctor, it's
so
mean.
What is the adequate meaning of this text?
It's mean that is raining heavily or raining a lot.
Good. How to translate it in Arabic? Into Arabic. Yes. Translate it into Arabic. Very good.
إنها تمطر
Great.
بغزارة.
Yes. إنها تمطر بغزارة. See, ladies. Yes, very good. So here, if you translated, when you translate it literally, it doesn't make any sense. And this is the difficulty, or this is the danger of translation. When you don't take meaning into consideration, your translation will be sometimes funny. So when you tell an Arab reader, إنها تمطر قططا وكلابا, does it make any sense? إلها معنى? It is meaningless. Yes, Nargis.
No, doctor.
Yes, doctor, I have an example. Doctor, can you... Yes, doctor. For example, I have
another example.
I am
yes.
blue today.
No. Yes, yes, I'm blue today.
I'm
Yes.
blue today. Yes.
Good.
Doctor, can I explain?
So,
yes. If
how
we
to
translate
translate
it
it?
by
If you translate
replacing
it,
words, it will be أنا
yes.
أزرق اليوم.
Here you are translating word for word,
no,
or
word
literally?
just replacing the word from target to source.
Which method?
Sorry, from source to that target. Sorry.
Which
word,
method? Which
word
method
by
you are
word.
adopting? Is it word for word or?
Yes.
Yeah, word for word. Here you forgot the verb.
I am blue today.
So how to translate it?
أنا أزرق اليوم.
أنا. No, if you translated word for word, you should not skip one word. أنا. I am. It is translated as يكون. أنا يكون أزرق اليوم. Okay? When you translate word for word, you should not forget any word. Here you have this. All of them should be rendered. But when you translate literally, your meaning is translated literally, just like this one.
Sorry, doctor, I can't hear you.
Yes. I'm hearing you, Habibti. So, what is the adequate meaning?
If we come to item meaning, so literally it will be أنا حزينة اليوم. Yes.
Or not حزين, something else. Blue.
حزين.
We can say كئيب.
It is either
كئيب. We can say Dr. كئيب.
مودة.
Who is it? Who said كئيب? Yes, good for you. Great. Yes, good for you. So, أنا كئيب. Okay. About yourself. بسم الله عليكم. أنا. Where is it? كئيب اليوم. So there is a huge difference between these two renditions, right?
Yes, Dr. Right.
Doctor.
اليوم. There is اليوم here. I'll give you another example. So, ladies, you see there is a huge difference between word for word and literal method of translation and the other methods. For instance, the communicative or the semantic method. In the communicative or the semantic method, we concentrate on meaning. The translator presents an adequate meaning, while in the word for word translation, we are just replacing the words which are found in the source text with the words in the target text. In literal translation, meaning is presented literally without taking context into consideration. يعني مترجم يترجم المعنى مثل ما هو بدون ما يشوف شنو السياق. Okay? And we have taken another example, another method, which is the free method of translation. Okay? In the free method of translation, it is one of the hardest methods, ladies. It is not an easy one. You have to be careful. Some of them say that the free method of translation is an easy one. No, it is not an easy one. It is used by expert translators. I guess most of you heard about Shakespeare, right? You know Shakespeare?
Yes, Dr. Right.
Yes, miss.
In one of Shakespeare's plays, we have this text. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thee, in the Old English, it means you. You. So, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? How to translate it? Do you have any suggestion?
Can I speak, miss?
Yes. Yes,
Miss,
go
can I
ahead,
speak?
حبيبتي.
Yes, Miss. I think
Yes,
it's
no?
mean هل يمكنني أن أقارنك بيوم صيفي؟
Good. This is one suggestion.
Miss, I think it's a literal translation. This
Okay,
what
we
I
are
said.
going to analyze the text. يوم صيفي. Another suggestion? Another suggestions, ladies? Noor Shakir, you are raising your hand or what?
نو دكتور ذا اعتقد معلقه ما ادري ايش بيها ما اعرف ليش.
You have any suggestion?
No.
So another suggestion, ladies. هل لي أن أشبهك بيوم صيفي؟ بيوم من أيام الصيف؟ Is it possible? Okay. هل لي أن أشبهك بيوم من أيام الصيف. Here, although it is conveyed correctly, adequately, but here we have some cultural problem. You know the meaning of cultural? You know the meaning of cultural? Yes, good. What does it mean, ثقافية here? There is a cultural problem between the Arab culture and the English culture. In their culture, ثقافتهم, حياتهم, summer is one of the great seasons in their culture. What about us, in our Iraqi or Arab culture? Is it a nice season?
Of course not.
No, doctor, of course.
It's very hot.
What do you say about summer? It's hell, right?
Yes, miss.
Most of you hate this season. So if you think that, suppose that a lover is describing his beloved as being similar to a summer's day, will she be satisfied? Will she be happy? Will she be happy? Of course not. Why?
Yes, in our
because
culture, no.
Don't like. Good, because in our culture, summer is not a pleasant season. So how can we fix this problem? Here, some of the great translators presented their what? Presented their free translation. Okay, I'm just trying to tell what is meant by free translation. One of the translators said that من ذا يقارن حسنك المغري for instance بيوم قد تجلى. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? He added حسنك المغري أما بصيف قد تجلى أو بيوم قد تجلى. So here, free, he didn't stick to the same meaning which is found in the original text. He presented the text in line with the what? With the target culture. It is totally different. Some of them, there is another translator who translated it as اللي أن أقارن هل لي أن أقارن جمالك يوم من أيام الربيع. Is there any mention for the word spring in the original text? Is there any mention?
No, miss.
We have
no, doctor.
No, doctor.
We have summer, while here we have a Rabi'a. So here the translator was free to change the context of the original text. Why? In order to be in line with the target culture. So this is called the free translation. Do you think it is a simple one? Of course, no. So when I ask you, which method of translation is the easiest one? You should never say it is the free translation. No, the free translation is one of the difficult ones. Why? Because it needs the translator to be a creative. Okay? Do you want to add something to give me another example on why you were so silent a few minutes ago? I'm sad. You disappointed me, ladies. Why didn't you participate when they came in, when they joined our classroom? Why didn't you participate? You were embarrassed or scared or what? Yes, Fatma.
Yes, doctor. I'm sorry, doctor. Because today I think this subject of the methods of translation, it is something new for us and it is difficult, and I was hesitant to participate. And I just doctor to ask
don't
you
be
something,
hesitant,
because
ladies.
when I was
Yes.
studying the methods
And I was
yesterday,
asking you about something fundamental. Yes.
yeah, as I said, it is something
Yes,
new,
Fatma.
doctor. Now, doctor, if you don't mind, can I ask you something?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Doctor, my question is, what is the best method? Do you think, doctor, the communicative translation, it is the best one, or the free translation?
I'm asking the same question to you. This is one of my favorite questions indeed. Any translator is free. Is free.
Yes, doctor, because it is
whatever suits him or her, but he or she should avoid these two methods, the worst methods. I mean, word for word and what? And the literal translation. Some translators say that the faithful translation, the faithful method of translation is the best one. Why? Because you stick to the original text, you stick to the source text without adding anything, without changing anything, without omitting anything, in a way that presents meaning the way it is presented in the source text. That's why it is called the faithful, al-amina, al-sadiqa. Others say no. I prefer a semantic translation because it concentrates on meaning, just like the communicative one. But there is a huge difference between the two. We use the semantic method of translation when we need to pay attention to the aesthetic aspects, العوامل الجمالية بالنص. For instance, when I translate metaphors, when I translate similes, التشبيه أو الاستعارة, so I use a semantic method. The communicative method of translation, it seems the best. Why? Through which the translator can be in a balanced position to present meaning without affecting, without changing the intention of the original writer, and at the same time, he or she can show his or her personality in a translation, can show his or her style, present the meaning the way he likes. Yes, Hajar, you are raising your hand?
Yes, doctor, you mean, doctor, in communicative translation here, it's created the same effect created by the source text on the
yes,
target
that's why
reader,
I've
and that's
said
why
it is sticking to the intention.
Yes, doctor, it's been created the same effect.
When you are paying attention to the intention of the original writer, it means that you are going to create the same effect in the target text. And by practice, ladies, you won't find any any lines, any clear lines between these methods. Translators translate by instinct, by their taste. They concentrate on meaning itself. But since you are beginners and you are learning different things about translation at the same time, that's why you may find it difficult for you. And now we have reached the end of our lesson for today, our lecture for today, which is great with your own participation, ladies. I'm so thankful to you. If you need anything before leaving, please ask. You have
Most welcome,
almost
Doctor.
1 minute.
Thank you.
Habibti, I wish you all the best and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, Dr.
Okay?
Yusuf.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Habibti. Thank you.
Have a nice day, Doctor.
See you next.
See you soon.
Thank you, Doctor.
See you, Doctor.
حبيبتي, all of you. صحة وسلامة حبيبات.
Thank you, Doctor.
See you next